Welcome to Courageous Dialogues, podcast where I try and get to the heart of the matter with people in your community. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for coming on to Courageous Dialogues. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me. I've been really looking forward to it.
So have I. I've been waiting for you to come online to talk about all the new rave, because you're the best in the field. I'm probably going to pronounce it incorrectly, but let's just go with the correct terminology. Chat, GPT, AI, what is it?
Well, the funny thing is I had a really big discussion last night with someone who's like, it's not AI, it's machine learning. ChatGPT is a machine learning tool, which is part of the AI umbrella, artificial intelligence, where it has learnt how to respond to human language with natural human language. So you don't need to be a programmer to get information from it. It's as easy as interacting with a human. It's been released around, I think it was November last year, and already it's the biggest growing application of all time. So it has gone viral in a million ways.
It's been on the news, it's been on LinkedIn, it's been on Facebook. Schools are shutting it down. There's all these questions around it. I'm just intrigued because, you know, we've come a long way from that picture that I've got in my background there, and pens and papers and schooling. And what are the impacts for schools at the moment?
Well, the thing that most people are concerned about straight away is assessment, and the authenticity of assessment. There are bigger concerns, I think. I think we've leapt to the assessment side first, because that is a focus of a lot of those final stages of education. I think there are other big issues that we also need to investigate, but it is a very valid concern, that idea of, if it's that easy for artificial intelligence to create coherent messages, write our essays for us, how do we know if it's the students? I would say that while that's a concern, I also have concerns about a number of other things, including privacy. We know that ChatGPT, in its privacy statement, says it's not private. Everything you do, it learns from. And we know these are, particularly when we deal with teenagers, they get their health information from the internet. So what kind of information can it gather? Can it learn from? That's a valid concern. Copyrights come up a lot because it's been trained by huge masses of information, and people have often said, but it's not paying where it's getting its training from, which is an interesting point. But my biggest concern is what ChatGPT means in terms of information literacy and understanding truth and valid information. So ChatGPT is very, very good. You can ask it some very deep questions. It's going to come up with some answers. Usually they're like the average answer. So if you look at the whole of knowledge, what would be the average answer, which for most things works fine. So when I'm working with Canvas LMS and I'm trying to find a shortcut, the average response will be quite correct and very useful. If we're looking at deep questions or controversial things, sometimes that's not always the best way to go. And even worse, sometimes it makes things up. So some of the things that ChatGPT says aren't true. That's because it will take A, it knows B, and then it will extrapolate to C because it's generative, it's coming up with new things. And some of those things aren't fact checked, or perhaps what it's learned from isn't accurate. So my problem is, up till now, when we've been training students about the truth and information literacy, we've been doing things like look at where it's coming from, look at the website. Does it feel like it's written in a very authentic way? It sounds very, very authoritarian in its language. And that gives it the appearance of validity. And one of the things that I think we need to be really careful about with the advent of ChatGPT is actually with students, not just like the worry of assessments, but also the worry of whether they understand the information they get might not be correct, even though it is written in beautiful prose. It's taking something that could be a lie and wrapping it up in a ribbon. And that worries me.
So interesting you've said all of that. Someone said to me the other day, what's the difference between that and a search engine like Google?
Yeah. So the difference is, and it's a good difference and it's a bad difference. If you search on Google, firstly, at the moment, we do know that there's a lot of money spent on search engine optimization. There's a lot of money spent on promoting certain links. And so the first responses aren't always the best ones. Google itself will try and give you the answer you want. So if you look for cats better than dogs, you're going to find out that cats are better than dogs. If you Google are dogs better than cats, it's going to tell you that dogs are better than cats. It's
Dogs
designed to help
cats.
I agree, but now I'm going to get a lot of hate mail from people who love cats. I respect cats. I don't understand them. There's something beautiful about the simplistic love of a dog. But the other issue, the other reason like this kind of approach could be seen as better than Google is that Google still requires you to make some decisions about what link you're clicking on for the most part. And you still have to go to the page and read through it. ChatGPT will tell you what you're looking for. So if I'm saying, I want to automate the enrollment of teachers in a course, it will not just give me the code, it will walk me through it. I can then go, and because it's a conversation, that's not the end of the story, because if I don't understand, I can say to it, okay, that's a little bit over my head. Can you explain it to me like I'm a 9-year-old? Or can you explain it to me a little bit simpler? Or can you put it in step-by-step instructions I can follow so I can do it? And so because it's got that memory and it's a conversation, you can start really drilling down to get the information you need, as opposed to you as a researcher on Google looking at, all right, this site looks good. I'm going to read through it. Okay, there's a little bit here, but it's not quite what I want. I'm going to go back, find another site. It's all in the same place. The downside and the dangerous bit is you're not sure where it's getting its information from. You're not able to look at it for bias. You're not able to do that thing that we do where whenever we look at information and go, do I trust it? So it's very convenient. It's very easy. It's very customizable. It feels very natural and it's faster, but we do need to look at how can you verify whether the information you get is what you need, and how much knowledge do you need to understand the response.
I didn't realize that you can actually carry on the thread. So if you ask the question, you can actually dig a little bit deeper. So I've been using it sort of like one-off. So I didn't realize you can carry on as a conversation. So that's actually good to know. So I'm going to carry on. So I did actually ask AI, what is OpenAI and what's its mission? What do you think its mission is?
I know what stated mission is, and it is about open access and exploration and all sorts of lovely good things. I will say there is now a for-profit organization that is owned by a not-for-profit, which it says it has structured the company that way in order to provide for more competitive salaries. And we have companies like Microsoft, which have given 10 billion to OpenAI as investments to try and keep on this development and then be able to use it themselves. So There are some very lofty goals with OpenAI, and some of them I actually agree with. But as always, this is a teacher mindset. You go in questioning and you go in going, okay, well, that's nice, but where is the money? What is the purpose? It's got a pro account. What does that mean? So it's no longer free for all. That all of those things are worthy questions and ones that we should continue to ask, particularly given how powerful this tool could potentially become with GPT-4.